Okay, so before I start, I just want to say this question, the question itself is super, super, super fast. The explanation that I'm about to give is going to be a little bit lengthy because I'm going to talk about Cramer's rule. It might take a minute. So the question on the exam will be really, really fast, but my explanation will be kind of long. So let's get into it. All right, so I've got this system of equations in matrix form where matrix A is A, B, C, D. Determine whether the following statement is true or false. Okay, so true or false, if determinant A, DE minus BF and AF minus CE all equal 0, the system is inconsistent and has no solution. Okay, so right away, if I see anything with like DE minus BF and then AF minus CE, I'm thinking in my head Cramer's rule, because I know that's the formula for Cramer's rule. So let's see. I know that Cramer's rule tells us that if dx, that like x will be equal to dx over d, and then y will be equal to dy over d. And I know that dx is like to find it, I basically do what I used to have a, b, c, d, and Cramer's rule tells me to take the EF and replace it and like substitute it into that matrix instead of A and C. So now I'm gonna have a matrix that looks like this, E, F, and then B, D. So let's see, if I find the determinant of this new matrix, I get DE minus BF. So DX, long story short, DX is DE minus BF, so like this little thing right here. This part, determinant A, is on the bottom. That's like the D. And then dy is the AF minus CE. And then again, D is just the determinant of A. Okay, so to summarize, I translated this part meaning dx. This part means dy. And I know that this is the setup of Cramer's rule. All right, now it's telling me that all of these things all equal 0. So what that means is x is equal to basically 0 over 0. Y is equal to, again, 0 over 0. So I need to think about what that means for these solutions. All right, so if I ask you about division and I ask you like what 8 divided by 2 is, obviously you tell me 4. Now, the reason for that is because 4 groups of 2 will make 8. So when I'm doing division, I'm thinking of how many groups of this go into that. Now, let's talk about zeros, because zeros are a little bit funky with division, as you know. So I'm asking myself, how many of these zeros will make this 0? How many times does this go into that? All right, now, is it true that 0 groups of 0 make 0? Yes, it is. Is it true that 1 group of 0 makes 0? Yes. 2 groups of 0 make 0. Yes. 3 groups of 0 make 0. Yes. So the idea is that we have infinitely many answers to 0 divided by 0, because any amount of zeros will still stack up to make 0 overall. So here, this situation doesn't imply that there's no solution. It implies that there are infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. So if you see, there's only 2 ways that they can ask this question on the exam. Either they all equal 0, in which case we should have infinite solutions, or if just the determinant was equal to 0, but these 2 weren't. So if we had instead of 0 over 0, like a number over 0 and a number over 0, here you can't divide a number by 0, because no amount of zeros will ever create a number. So this would be no solution. So this particular question would be false. Here's like your main like summary. So if determinant of A equals 0, you got 2 rows you can go down. Either DE minus, what was it, BF? Yeah, BF equals 0, and then AC minus, or AF minus CE also equals 0, then this will be infinitely many solutions. You can kind of remember it by thinking, oh, these 2 zeros kind of look like an infinity symbol when you put them together. Okay, the other alternative is that DE minus BF does not equal 0, AF minus CE does not equal 0. In this case, you will have no solutions. Because this one over here will imply 0 over 0, which there's infinitely many numbers that make that true. But here over on this side, you'll have a number divided by 0, which cannot happen. You cannot divide a number by 0. So this is your little flow chart. If you just want the basics, you just want to get that question right, you can try and memorize this. But this over here is the actual reason why that makes sense. So again, this explanation was super, super long, but the question itself will just take you 5 seconds based on which of these possibilities you have. So let me know if that makes sense. If it doesn't, I can already think of other ways to explain this. So don't be afraid to tell me Miss Halligan, that makes no sense. But yeah, that's this question.